Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about humans. How to deal with different social masks. Who drops them and when? How different environments, like, let's say office bar or social media, family dinner, unlock different versions of the same person. You walk into an office and you can almost hear it click. Not a sound, exactly, more like an internal switch flipping. Shoulders adjust, voice drops half a tone, words become safer, smoother, rounded at the edges. Someone who was laughing freely 10 minutes ago in the elevator suddenly speaks in the bullet points. Same person, different mask. And the funny part is we all pretend this is normal because it is. Human beings don't have one personality. We have a collection of selves, each one waiting for the right room to walk into. Different lighting, different rules, different risks. The environment doesn't just influence behavior, it selects which version of you gets to come out and play. This is not hypocrisy, it's adaptation. Let's start with a simple truth people don't like to admit. Your personality is context dependent. Not morally, not philosophically, biologically. Your nervous system is constantly asking one quiet question. What version of me is safest here? And it answers fast. So let's take office mask. The office is a stage with invisible landmines. Hierarchy lives there. Evaluation lives there, memory lives there. The office remembers what you say, how you say it, and who was watching when you said it. That alone changes everything. You see, different environment, different behavior. In an office, most people wear what I call the competent adult mask. Calm, controlled, slightly restrained. Even when the office is, let's say, friendly, the mask remains. Because friendliness at work is conditional, it can be revoked. Because at the end of the day, you understand that you're acting this way in order to, some sort of reward. You will notice certain patterns. People smile with their mouth but not their eyes. Jokes tested softly before being committed. Opinions are phrased like weather forecast. It seems like, let's say, that kind of thing. Anger is translated into concern. Fear is renamed so-called alignment issues. Why? Because the office is a reputation economy. In other words, the more you the more you're acting in a, let's say, a good way, the more you're getting social reward. Especially with the boss, and after you converting that social gain, social reward to the new job, and you go up to your career. Every interaction is a micro investment in future safety. Promotions, projects, access, forgiveness, all of it depends on being perceived as reliable, predictable, and non-threatening. So people don't say what they think, they say what can survive the reputation. Because at the end of the day, and again, they're acting this way in order to get some pragmatic output. And here's the insight most people miss. The office mask drops not when people relax, but when they feel cornered. In other words, in a stressful situation, you can see each one's like a core personality. Watch someone whose status is threatened. Watch someone whose competence is questioned publicly. You will see the mask crack. Voice tightens, pace speeds up, they interrupt more, or they go cold and procedural. Again, it depends with like what kind of personality we're dealing with. And that is not emotions, it is defense. The office version of like a someone is rarely the so-called real one, but it's the most strategic one. Okay, let's take another example, like a bar mask. Now move the same person to a bar. Lights lower, music hours pauses, alcohol removes friction, social rules soften. The bar is not a reputation economy, it is a validation marketplace. Well, let's continue. There was a little bit break, let's call it. So we was talking about the bar mask, and now move the same person to a bar. Lights lower, music covers pauses, alcohol removes friction, social rules soften. The bar is not a reputation economy, it is a validation marketplace. Here's the mask shifts. People becomes louder or looser, stories get better, failures get reframed as adventures, confidence inflates, vulnerability sneaks in sideways, usually disguised as humor. This is where people wear their socially attractive mask. Notice the differences. More eye contact, more touching, more exaggeration, less precision, more emotion words. In other words, more like people expressing themselves more in a like a body language way. And the bar allows controlled loss of control. You can say things here you would never say at work because the bar offers plausible deniability. I was drunk. It was just a joke. You know how it is. That excuse is powerful. It lets people test truth safely. Here's the key insight. People don't lie more at bars. They reveal selectively. They will tell you about dreams they would never admit in the office, resentments they pretend do not exist, desires they keep locked during daylight hours. But you gotta remember that you don't have to romanticize it. The bar mask is not so-called truth either. It is a performance optimized for approval. People show who they want to be seen as when consequences feel distant. In other words, when people don't see that there's like negative consequences, they become more free, and you kind of see like their like a natural true behavior. If you want to understand someone deeply, do not listen what they say at a bar. Listen to what they repeat. Repetition reveals obsession. Obsession reveals identity. The Telegram, like let's say, or another like a social media chat mask, digital space changes everything. Like whatever social media, this is where people put on the low friction mask. No, like, facial expressions, no immediate feedback, no, like, a social punishment in real time. So, two things happen. First, people get braver because, especially in the social media, you know better than me, like, people putting whatever image they want to put, like whatever nickname, like they hiding their identity. It's like having to be anonymous, but of course not like completely. In other words, the first thing, people get braver, like on social media. The second thing, people get sloppier. You will see confidence spike and empathy drop. Messages get shorter or sharper, sarcasm increases. People say things digitally they would never say aloud because the nervous system doesn't fully register danger without physical presence. In other words, brain. Well, the brain is like everything comfortable, no consequence. You can say, do whatever you want. This is why arguments escalate faster online, because there's no like again, it's not like completely, but most of the time, like just average people dealing with average people, and there's no like a physical consequences. The body isn't there to regulate the mind. That's the good fucking point. The body isn't there to regulate the mind. Because in real life, we all know, like, sometimes it's enough to like look into the other person's eyes, and that's already enough to see like his state. Is he like scared of you, or like he brave or psychopath? But there's another layer most people overlook. Messaging environments rewards control over timing. Response delay becomes a power tool. Fast reply signal interest or anxiety. Slow reply signal dominance or disengagement. People curate their availability like currency. Well, like, if people like fed up, they can easily just block someone, delete someone. In chats, people also reveal priorities unintentionally, not through words, but through patterns. Who always responds late? Who sends voice messages instead of text? Who avoids direct questions but keeps chatting? Who disappears after emotional topics? And these are not habits, they're masks designed to manage exposure. The digital version of someone is often the most honest about their boundaries and the least honest about their intentions. The family dinner mask, it's like another context. Let's observe that one. Yeah, family. This is where things get complicated. Family environments activate all this mask, the one built before you had a choice. Around family, people regress. Confident adults become quiet children. Independent thinkers become reactive teenagers. Calm professionals suddenly lose patience over nothing. You could ask why? Because family bypasses logic and goes straight to the nervous system. Family knows where you came from. In the public you can act whatever, however you want to, but in the family, your like siblings know how you act because they fucking watching you 24/7. And that knowledge strips you of curated identity. You cannot impress people who remember your worst haircut and your dumbest face. So the family mask is usually defensive or performative or both. People exaggerate success, minimize failure, avoid certain topics entirely, or poke old rounds because that's the only way they know how to connect. And here's another uncomfortable truth. Family masks appeal to preserve hierarchy, not harmony. Yeah, because it's like if in your family, like a dad, like the final boss, let's say, like you better shut up. No one cares about your human rights. Who interrupts whom? Who gets listened to? Who gets dismissed? Who gets joked about? None of this is random. It is like a living memory of like a power dynamics established years ago. Watch closely and you will see the same person who commands respect at work may shrink at the dinner table, or the opposite. Like a quiet office worker becomes dominant among relatives. Different arena, different rules. Why? Like you can ask, like why masks exist, right? Like let's talk about the science part without the boring. Your brain evolved to do one thing exceptionally well: predict danger. Because it's like the brain is like a guessing machine, you can say. Like it's constantly want to save your fucking ass and ask itself, or you asking yourself, like subconscious level, what's going to be next? What's going to be next? And the reason of anxiety when your brain doesn't know what's going to be next, and vice versa when like you like feeling good, you're happy, you know what's going to be next. So social environments are danger, not physical danger, status danger, rejection danger, resource danger. So your brain runs scripts, and these scripts answer questions like who has power here, what behavior gets punished, what behavior gets rewarded, how much of myself can I safely show. In other words, like your brain subconsciously want to figure out what's the fucking rules in order to survive again your fucking ass. And each environment answer those questions differently. Your mask is simply the behavioral output of that calculation, and this is not fake, it's efficient. The problem starts when people believe one mask is the real one and the other lies. That's lazy thinking. The more accurate view is this: every mask is real but incomplete. When masks drop, like masks, let's say, masks don't drop randomly. They drop under specific conditions. In other words, if someone acting, let's say, this way, it doesn't mean like exactly that they sway like this, like their true nature, but that this behavior could be different if it's gonna be in another context. So I said like previously that masks don't drop randomly, they drop like under specific conditions, and let's observe what kind of conditions like could be. First of all, about safety. When people feel they won't be punished, they relax, which makes sense. Like your brain searching for the danger, and it's like couldn't find danger, and it says you, okay, chill bro, relax. And that's why late night conversations hit differently. Fatigue lowers defense, safety invites truth. Another condition could be status certainty, when like someone knows they won't lose position, they stop performing. This is why powerful people often seem more relaxed. They don't need approval. Another condition could be emotional overload. Things like anger, grief, fear, these kind of like a strong emotions override scripts. You see raw reactions, not like rehearsed one. Another condition could be alcohol or fatigue, reduced cognitive control, less like a filtering. It's like another. At this condition, of course, you're fucking with your like chemistry, brain chemistry. Not more honesty in terms of alcohol, just less editing, because you got less control. And another condition, mirroring. People drop masks faster around those who don't judge, don't interrupt, and don't react dramatically. Calm is contagious. Yeah, that's actually a good point. When like you don't judge someone, you're just like showing active listening, and it's kind of also like lowering defense, and people becoming more like free to talk to you. How to use this like without becoming a weirdo? The first rule: stop asking which version is real. Wrong question. Ask instead, what does this environment reward? Then observe who adapts fastest. Second rule: never confront masks directly. Telling someone things like "you're different here" triggers defense. Let patterns speak. The third rule: if you want someone's like a deeper self, do not push, change the environment. In other words, it's hard to have like relaxed, less censored conversation while you like sit in the office, right? And that's why people invite each other in like a cocktail parties, so like to the bar, because the environment changed and they can relax. So private walk beats public table. Late hour beats early meeting. Side by side beats face to face. Silence beats interrogation. Another rule: notice your own mask. Where do you get quieter? Where do you exaggerate? Where do you perform competence instead of curiosity? And self-awareness here is power, because like once you see your mask, you can choose when to wear them and when not to. And the final truth: people are not inconsistent, they are responsive. Different rooms unlock different versions because each room asks a different question of the nervous system. And if you learn to read the room not emotionally but like structurally, you'll stop being confused by people. You will stop taking behavioral personally. You will understand that most conflicts are not about character, they're about context. Same person, different mask. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. In other words, it's not just about that this person behaved this way, but it's also that this person behaved this way at this exact situation, context, and that kind of like a context, environment, situation matter. Thank you for listening to, and if you like this podcast, smash the like button, subscribe button. See you next time.